you all for taking time out of your day for part 2 of the series. Adrienne didn't mention, but I know that she recorded part 1, so if you like what you see today and you want to go back and review it, just get a hold of ERP-VAR or visit them on YouTube, and I'm sure you'll find part 1 of that, and then hopefully we'll see you on part 3. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about some ways we can put your AR on autopilot. First slide here, I just wanted to summarize kind of what we went through last time, ways that we can automate workflow processes within businesses. The value proposition of putting your AR on autopilot, some of the different workflows we can automate, account assignment, task creation, et cetera. You guys can read the list there. But today we're going to focus specifically around customer communication. There are certain things that we can automate that are going to save us a whole lot of time, right? Things like invoice and statement delivery, reminders that they have invoices coming due or past due notices, collection dunning letters, document management, invoice creation, chat logs of all things, a pretty interesting thing we can automate there. And also email retrieval and customer portal messages. So that's going to be the focus of today's presentation. And then on August 18th, we're going to finish up this 3-part series, and we're going to talk about automating reports, business intelligence, alerts, and really a lot of the analytics to go in and around your accounts receivable process. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig in on today's topic, and we're going to go into customer communications. And we're going to start with tip number 8 in our series, which is automated invoice and statement delivery. Now here's my little buddy here, my little robot guy. I call him Otto. Of course, I'm real original. Everybody calls him Otto. I want to talk about the value of automating your documents, electronic versus paper. A lot of this we all know, but it's worthwhile to just hear it out loud. Paper documents waste time, right? Every time that we touch paper, create paper, it's a waste. It's also not, green or eco-friendly, but most of us can get by with that, I guess, because it's kind of the nature of doing business. But it can also add up and be very expensive. Paper is expensive. Toner's expensive. Envelopes are expensive. Labels, postage. Not to mention the labor that goes into every one of those processes. And there are increasingly more and more customers are telling us that they're preferring that we communicate with them electronically as opposed to paper, for various reasons. They get it faster, it's easier to find information, it's easier for them to forward it within their organizations. I just have one of many, many statistics out there, and I wanted to focus on this one because it's really kind of a change in what's happening with demographics. These are the 18 to 34-year-olds. 70% of them prefer email to postal mail. And that was a very recent Marketing Sherpa statistic that we received out there. So, lots of benefits to using automation to get rid of paper within our business. Now, what does that mean from a cost savings? And you can, fiddle around with these numbers, but I just want you to see what's possible. Over on the left, if we're doing just 100 invoices every month, cost per invoice is 50 cents. That's going to be our material cost, labor costs. We're spending $50 every month just to send out paper invoices. That adds up to $600 every year. Now, that's a really small business if you're only doing 100 invoices a month. Or, maybe a capital equipment manufacturer that's doing, kind of high dollar value, low number of invoice business. Most companies are going to probably be in that, 500 invoices per month up to maybe 5,000. That's where we tend to see a lot of our customers. But you can see that those costs add up very quickly, right? Just doing 1,000 invoices a month, you're spending about $6,000 a year just on your invoicing process. Now, over on the right, statements. A lot of us are still sending out paper statements. Now, we probably have less customers than we have invoices, hopefully. And the same math kind of applies here. The reason I put this on here is I want you to be able to see this, and I want you to think about it in terms of recurring waste. What if we could get our customers, or even half of our customers, to go electronic as opposed to paper? We can cut all of these costs on this slide in half. And that's going to add up year over year and go directly to our bottom line. Another thing that we can automate when it comes to customer communication are things like reminders, past due notices, and collection or dunning letters. Let's take a look at what that looks like. I ask everybody this. When was the last time you sent a reminder to your customers that they had the invoice coming due in the next 3 days or 5 days and there's a balance due? You haven't done it. Nobody's ever done it. Why? We don't have the time. We're too busy chasing the companies that are past due and owe us a lot of money. We're too busy trying to create all these paper-based processes that we never get a chance to remind our customers to pay their bills. You know, a lot of utilities and a lot of businesses on the consumer side do this, especially getting like credit cards. You know, you have a statement coming due. Click here to pay your bill online. We can do this with today's technology. We can automate these reminders to go out, something that you will never get to. We also can automate things like past due notices, right? Nice friendly letters that go out and say, hey, your account is now past due. Please disregard if you've made a payment, or contact us if you have a question. But here's the details, and it's kind of a past due reminder. Most companies aren't doing this until their accounts get to the point where they're 30 days, 60 days past due, and where there's a lot of money here at stake and they're high credit risk. Collection dunning letters, some people send them out, some people don't. Very few people create them from a template. Where you can create multiple templates, based on different types of customers, different types of stages on where your customers are at in the collections process. And there's no reason that we can't leverage technology to be able to send these collection dunning letters out. Maybe you don't send them to your strategic house accounts automatically because you don't want to send them a letter that might be damaging to the relationship. But you could send them to those mom and pops that continually take 60 days to pay you. And all of this can be automated either fully, meaning literally you don't have to touch the system, it just happens. Or when I say partially automated, the system can create these activities for you so that you know that they need to occur. Okay? And don't forget that technology is a great way to automate tasks, but really nothing can ever replace the value of interpersonal communications. You still need to build a relationship with your customers. You still need to talk to your customers. Okay? Document management. Let's talk about automating document management. We have a lot of different documents in the accounts receivable process. This is a list of just some of them that we run into time and time again. And there's really two categories, right? We have documents that are related to the customer accounts. These are things like the statement, could be credit applications, purchase contracts, credit reports, trade credit references, requests for credit changes, whether it's changes to the terms or the limits, credit agreements, service level agreements, you name it, right? These are all around the customer. And then over on the right, we have different types of documents that are related specifically to invoices. You have the invoice itself, and then you have different types of supporting documents, things like maybe a bill of lading or a packing slip, quotes, sales orders, jobs, project schedules, or different information around the jobs or projects if you happen to be in professional services or construction. You might have the customer purchase order, freight invoices and freight charges, accessorials, if you're in the transportation logistics industry. You could have timesheets for billable services that are tied directly to those invoices. And you can have other things, miscellaneous documents and files like photos or attachments of damaged goods, or maybe it's an approved RMA document. Okay. So how can we automate documents? We can automate them in many ways. We can automate the creation of those, or if they're already created, we can automate the delivery of those documents or the presentment of those documents to your accounts receivable staff. We can also automate the delivery and collection of those documents, making them available to your customers either via email or also via a customer self-service portal. And I want to talk about the value proposition here. Now, this is kind of general document management, so these numbers are arguably probably a little bit high, but I think they'll paint a picture for you. Multiple studies out there show that the cost associated with a manual paper-based system is roughly $1,250 per employee every year. Okay? Now, that's across your business. That's all kinds of documents, not just specifically AR. But it's still pretty significant. What does that mean? If you have 100 employees, that means you're spending about $125,000 every year managing documents. And that's in a manual process. And why is this? Because we spend a lot of time filing documents, searching for documents, and recreating lost documents. These are some numbers that we've accumulated through the years. $20 to file a document, $120 to search for a document that's missing or misfiled. And if you can't find it, $250 to recreate that document from scratch. Again, you look at this in the microcosm or the microscope of accounts receivable, that number probably isn't $1,250 per employee, but it's not insignificant. It might be $100 per employee. And that's still going to add up to a very large number over time. I think we can all understand that. Automated invoice creation. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, how the heck can I create an invoice automatically? Well, we really can't, but we can minimize the steps. So if we look at a manual-based process, this is what you're probably doing today. You're going in and you're selling something. Maybe you're using a sales order system. Maybe invoices are created out of a different application. The end result, though, is that the invoice is created in the accounting system. You then have to post that invoice batch. You have to print the invoices to the printer. You have to fold the paper, stuff them in an envelope, apply the postage, deliver it to the post office, maybe print a PDF copy of the invoice that you can send electronically to the customer if they request a copy. And then you got to go file that copy somewhere, network drive, SharePoint directory, document management system, etc. So, I've kind of minimized it. Some businesses have, more steps in that process. Some have a little less steps. You can certainly automate a little bit of that with things like EDI, with 850 outbound 850. 850 is a purchase order of 810 invoice. Over on the right-hand side, though, with most of the automated accounts receivable systems on the market today, we can minimize that really to about 3 steps. Okay. The first step is that you're going to still create that invoice in the accounting system. You're still going to post that invoice batch, and you're going to print the invoice. But in this case, you're going to print it to a virtual printer. So you could get a hard copy of that if you still have customers who request and require a hard copy. But really, once that invoice is printed, once that invoice data is entered in a system, we can take over and automate everything else. We can automate the creation of the invoice in PDF format. We can automate the synchronization of that file into an application where the customer can receive that either via email, again automatically, or access it in a portal, a self-service portal where they can view that. We can also automate kind of the collection of all of those related documents, whether they're account-related documents or supporting documents to the invoice. Those can also be brought into a single system, automated for delivery to the customer, or automated so that the customer can view them online in a secure portal. We can also do things with like email to fax, where you still have customers that are stuck in the 1980s and the 1990s. We can go ahead and automate email, where the email message and any of the documents or attachments in that email go out via fax to your accounts. Chat logs. So this is something a little bit new, right? So you go out to a lot of websites, especially if you're selling more complex products and services, and you see a little chat now button, right? Or if it's one of those really annoying websites, it just pops up, says, "Do you want to chat now?" Well, if I want to chat now, to click the button, buddy. So leave me alone. Don't hijack me. Just here looking. But anyway, chat technology is pretty cheap. If you go out to sites like livechatinc.com, you can sign up for as little as like $10 a month, And it's a real nice way to extend services to your customers. So while your customers are on your website or while your customers are in your secured customer portal, they see a little Chat Now button, pops up in front of them, and they have a question about an invoice. They have a question about their credit terms or credit limits, or they're disputing something. All of that can be captured now online. We integrate, and I don't know if any of our competitors do, but I know our application integrates with live chat. All that chat conversation back and forth between you and your customers can be automatically retrieved, stored, and filed back into a centralized system and follows the account, follows the contacts, and it's there so anybody can see it. Okay. What does this result in? Improved customer experience. You know, they don't have to wait for you. They don't have to make a phone call. That's right there in front of them. It's a little more personal, maybe not as personal as hearing somebody's voice, but at least they know they're talking with you or your credit collection team. And it is extremely inexpensive. I think I said $9 before. It looks like it's more like $16, but still very, very cost effective. And think about it this way, with online chat, you don't have phone bills for long distance, so you're going to save a lot of money probably just on your phone bill by automating live chat with your customers. Email retrieval and portal access, we'll talk about this next. So we send out a lot of email, right? Businesses do. We're following up on customers, find out, did you get the invoice? Did you have a question? Did you get it approved? Did you get the RMA processed? All these things we're emailing to get status updates. As a best practice, we do not recommend using a personal email account. I'm going to tell you why. So let's say that I'm Jim Mallory, collector. I'm emailing my customers back and forth, right? Now, I'm managing it very well. I've got all the inbound, outbound communication in my inbox. Well, a couple things could happen here. I go on vacation for 3 or 4 weeks. I get sick. I'm out for 3 or 4 months. I get promoted in the organization, and I'm no longer responsible for credit collections. They hire somebody else in to perform those tasks for me. Where is all that communication? It is in my personal inbox. That doesn't make any sense. This information, this communication, belongs at the customer account level so that anybody that has the appropriate security permissions can view it. You get into larger organizations where they have 2 or 3 or 4 people managing credit collections, and I want that in a centralized database. I don't want it in somebody's personal inbox. What if I reallocate my AR portfolio and I'm no longer working on Acme Industries, I'm working on, other accounts? All that Acme communication now is in my inbox when it, really needs to be available for somebody else managing that account. The other side of this is with escalations. I might be managing AR, I'm the AR clerk, I'm the collection manager, what have you, and all of a sudden I get an issue that I can't resolve. And I need to escalate it to legal. I need to escalate it to my boss to do something. What are they going to ask me for? Get all of that communication that has occurred around this issue, summarize it, and send it over to me. Oh, geez. Now I got to go back in. I got to go through my email. I got to go through all my paper systems, all my notes, maybe go into all the different systems I've used to store all this information and get it together to escalate it. If you keep all of it in one place using centralized email, the benefit is I escalate the account and all of the communication history follows it, no matter where it goes. Okay? Huge benefit here. And the way we do that is by using generic emails with subdomains. Now, we can still have signatures, so I could still have an email go out with, James Mallory, Super Collector, but it's going to go out from accounting at ar.yourdomain.com or maybe credit at ar.yourdomain.com. The reason we're using a subdomain is because we're going to separate this communication. We're going to use a cloud-based solution like a Gmail or maybe a GoDaddy account where we can still have the same domain, but we can separate this communication because it needs to be separate so that we can consolidate all of our outbound and, oh, by the way, all of our inbound responses from customers. Think about this, I've sent an email to a customer, they reply back, I don't have to click a button to archive that back into a system. The system does it automatically because it knows, based on the way we've configured email, that this is a credit and collections activity. Bring it back in, tag it to that credit issue, tag it directly to that customer account, and notify me visually or even via email that I have email responses that require my attention. Kind of talked a little bit about the second bullet here. It keeps everything at the account record level, reduces the workload, and makes it a lot easier for us really across the board. We also can integrate this from a customer portal perspective. So when the customers are on the portal, maybe they don't want to chat now, or maybe we're away from our desk at lunch. They can send us a message from the customer portal. Again, kind of automating the communication. They leave us a message. We come back from lunch. We're in the software, and all of a sudden it says you have 20 new customer communications or customer messages from the portal. You can review them, reply back, send an email, or just do whatever you need to do. Now, I want to mention one more piece here kind of related to email retrieval. Because we're spending so much less time on this, we can implement a strategy that I absolutely am a huge fan of, and that's the Pareto principle. So the Pareto principle states that 80% of our revenue comes from 20% of our customers. Now, if I look at my workload and what I do day in and day out, I'm not working that way. I'm not putting 80% of my effort to 20% of my accounts that represent 80% of my revenue, 80% of my credit problems, 80% of my past due, ignorant, annoying customers that I absolutely love, right? But I should. By using automation software, I can spend the bulk of my time on those accounts that are truly strategic and are going to have a huge impact on my bottom line if they pay on time or if they don't pay on time. I can then use the automation in the software to communicate with my customers via email or via the portal. Now, put this in perspective. Let's say that I have 1,000 customers. 200 of those customers represent 80% of everything I really need to do. I can manage that with one person. But I still have 800 other customers that need some form of communication, information, and I need a system to be able to escalate things to me if there happens to be a problem with one of those smaller accounts. Perfect use of technology. Let's leverage technology to hilt to manage those 800 accounts. It's sort of like hiring a robot or a part-time AR clerk that always does what they're told and they always show up on time. This is the true value proposition in technology today. And I wanted to kind of give you guys some examples of what some of our customers have said. We had a customer of ours, they're a network service firm, and by using technology to automate accounts receivable, specifically in the collection side, communication side, they were able to reallocate about 50% of one of their employees to other duties. We're not looking to replace employees here. We want to help employees work smarter, more effectively. And if you have employees that can be moved into other departments, certainly we want to help you do that. And they did all of this while growing their business rapidly, organically, and through acquisition. They actually nearly doubled their business, were able to reduce headcount slightly, and, oh, by the way, they got paid 40% faster within 12 months. Took their DSO down from, I think it was about 67 days, down to 47 days. And if you excluded just a handful of their accounts that were kind of problematic, they got that down even further. So they're getting paid almost a month faster just by leveraging technology. This one's a little longer, but I wanted you to hear what our customers are saying. This is a company in the advertising space or a marketing service firm. When we purchased Anytime Collect, we hoped to eliminate a collector's making phone calls for every single account. When we automated statement, letter, or past due notice, could be emailed directly to the client instead. Anytime Collect allows us to do that, by using the integrated rules engine, so we can automate those activities and spend more time managing accounts that require a more personal touch. They also went on, I kind of summarized it here, they reported they were able to reallocate a full-time employee to other tasks, something they said would have been absolutely impossible to do without the automation that the AR software provided to them. Now consider this here just for a second as well. We're going to talk about this later on in part 3, but you can reallocate now one person to something else. So you're alleviating that salary from the AR kind of management budget, if you will. The average AR clerk, burden salary, benefits, recruitment, everything that goes along with it, electricity, phone bill, all of that adds up to about $36,000 a year. So that's a pretty big cost savings for this company, be able to reallocate them to something else within the organization. I wanted to leave you with this. Based on our research, I have my little stat here as well. Most of our customers, by using the automation software, are able to get a reduction in their AR departments by about one person, sometimes even two. Our average customers have about 3 or 4 people managing the AR process. Again, that's an average about $36,000 every year, assuming we're going to reallocate them to other areas of the business and absorb that cost into their budgets. Let's also not forget about the employee that we no longer need in AR. We can move them somewhere else. We reduce our recruitment costs because they also already have familiarity with our business. We don't have to pay headhunters. They're going to get up to speed a lot faster. It's going to reduce our onboarding costs, reduce our HR and payroll setup. There's just a lot of benefits to this. So that kind of concludes part 2 here of our series on automating communication. I purposefully did not show a lot of the screens within our software because there are a lot of solutions on the market today that do automated accounts receivable management. We're one of them. I certainly think that we have a very compelling solution. If you are interested, you can see product demos on our website, but I'll leave that to your discretion. So we'll wrap up here. I just want to mention, as I always do, that we do have additional resources available. If you do want to look at the product specifically, go to the Anytime Collect website. We have a resource link there. That has this document over on the right, which has links to all kinds of different PDFs and video links to our YouTube channel, where you can look at product, you can look at other webinars we've done in the past around different topics. You can get white papers around things like how to reduce invoice disputes. We have a white paper on killer collection call scripts and collection letter templates. We've got all kinds of different case studies that talk about how some of our customers have gained some value, considerable value by automating AR. And again, just a whole slew of other resources and webinars out there. And that's free to you. We do put it behind a form, so you have to tell us who you are, but we're not going to bite you. We're here to educate you, help you out, hopefully help you get paid a little faster. And then just another reminder, join us on August 18th, and we're going to talk, really more in depth about automating reports, business intelligence, and alerts, things to really keep your eye on what's happening in AR, and give you some analytics that don't take any time at all to put together because the system's going to do it for you, so you can measure your results. Okay. And with that, I'm going to kick it back over to Adrian and ERP VAR, and we're going to open it up for some questions.
Thank you, Jim. Great presentation, as always. I just want to remind the audience that there are a couple buttons next to your name. And on your webinar pane, there's a question mark button and there's a hand button. If you should have a question, just go ahead and click on that question mark button. A dialog box will open up and you can key in your question and we'll announce your question live for Jim. And Jim, could you review the ERP systems that you integrate with, that this Anytime Collect solution integrates with?
Yeah, what we've done is there's hundreds, literally hundreds of ERP and accounting systems on the market, and it really varies depending on the part of the world you're in even. What we've done here is we've integrated to some of the more popular systems, really in the U.S. or North American market. Those include, from the entry-level space, things like Sage 50, the former Peachtree product, into a QuickBooks, both the online as well as the desktop version, into the mid-market space with Microsoft, Dynamics, GP, being Great Plains, Navision, etc. Also into the Sage mid-market products, Sage 100, Mass 90, Sage 500, Mass 500, Sage 300 being ACPAC, as well as several others. We also integrate with Epicor directly. They private label. Our product is Epicor Cash Collect. And then we integrate on the high end to some of the Tier 1 systems like SAP or Oracle. And if I didn't mention your product name, don't worry. We do have several other ways to integrate. We have CSV flat files. We have direct SQL integration. It's a little more generic. And we've used the generic interface to integrate to systems from Infor, like Sightline, Visual Manufacturing. We can integrate to SX Enterprise from Infor. We've got customers on Macola that are integrated. We've got customers on homegrown systems or very proprietary industry-specific systems. We have another relationship with a company do direct store delivery software for companies that like put ice cream into freezers at convenience stores, and we have customers in that industry. So the chances are, whatever system you're using today, if you can get the data out of it, we can certainly integrate with it.
And what is the average cost to implement a solution like this?
So there's a couple different editions. If you're a smaller company and you only have maybe one person, half a person that's managing accounts receivable, your best bet is probably to go with our Express Edition. The benefit of the Express Edition is it's extremely affordable. It's $99 per month. It's on a subscription. There's a $500 setup fee, and it's all canned. It's basically you're just buying AR on autopilot. You fill out a small survey, we set it up for you, and away you go. So that's really kind of the entry point into the software. Now, if you have a more sophisticated process or there's some nuances to your businesses, you may want to go with our Standard Edition or our Enterprise Edition. Those are available in either a subscription model or you can buy the software outright. Those start at $150 per user per month for Standard Edition, or you can buy it starting at $2,500 plus your annual maintenance support contract. So we have a lot of different options available. You're not going to know all the nuances of it. Your best bet's probably to give us a call, talk to one of our sales reps. You'll probably end up with Adam Lynch, and real nice guy. He'll help you out. He'll ask you a couple questions and then try to figure out the best product at the right price for you.
And how long does it take to implement the solution? What's involved?
Oh, good question as well. So on our Express Edition, literally we send you a survey, you fill it out, you send it back, and you could be set up within a matter of a couple of days. Just depends on how busy our consultants are, and you're done. That's it. We have an embedded support portal within the software, so if you want to learn about particular areas of the software, you can go on and watch tutorial videos, but it's very, very intuitive to learn software. On our Standard Edition and our Enterprise Edition, more complex implementations can take anywhere between 16 hours up to several man weeks of work to implement. We do kind of scale from the low end up to kind of very large companies. And when I give you that range of 16 to several weeks of work, that's just the actual work that's being done. Depending on your availability, that could take longer from a time duration standpoint. But most of our customers, a day or two of work, and they're up within a couple weeks.
And I'm not seeing any other questions. Oh, we have one that popped in here. Do you have customer testimonials that you could provide us?
We absolutely do. So your best bet, and I'm just going to scroll back here, is in this handy-dandy resource guide. This will have links to some of those customer testimonials. You can also go out to the Anytime Collect website, and in the benefits menu at the very top, there's a link to all of our customer success stories that we've completed. And we do have a number of other ones that are in process, but those are the ones that we have available for you today.
And I'm not seeing any other questions at this point. I'd just like to thank the audience for joining us today. 36 minutes into the hour. And time is hard to come by. We know that it's precious for you, and we really appreciate you taking time out to learn a little bit more about how to automate your accounts receivable processes with Anytime Collect. And I just want to go ahead and let Jim offer any closing remarks.
No, I think the only thing I always want to emphasize is, we take time out, we attend the webinar, we get all excited, get some tips, things we want to go back and implement, and then the real world happens, right? And we don't actually go ahead and do anything. So I really encourage you to try to take one of the things that we've talked about today and look at ways you can automate that process within your business. Certainly you don't have to buy our software. There are other ways to skin that cat, if you will. But if you do think that you have an AR problem, or you think that there may be a fit here for us, go out to our website, take a look at it, engage us in conversation, and let us see if we can help you. We do also have an ROI tool available, so we can help you understand if there's a potential return on investment to be had based on the way you're managing things today, and hopefully help you get paid a lot faster. And then last but not least, my contact information's on there. And I do invite you back to the webinar that we have scheduled in August to wrap up the series. And then last but not least, if you happen to be using a Sage product, please stop by and visit us. We will be out at the Sage Summit Conference next week, and would love to meet you guys in purpose and talk to you and get to know you a little better. And
what is your booth number, Jim?
Oh, that's a good question. We're on the kiosk. Yeah, I know. Isn't that terrible? Director of Marketing doesn't know our booth number. It's on the website. Let me
Perfect.
go look here real quick.
It'll be easy to find. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And I don't see any other questions coming in. I did want to make note, Jim, that you have so many resources on your website. And I noticed that you are also affiliated with Capterra. Can you explain a little bit about that relationship? Has Capterra validated your application?
They haven't validated it. What Capterra is it's probably the largest online directory of business applications on the web. And what the user reviews here, so Capterra allows us as vendors to go in and put our products in there as a directory listing. But kind of like you do in Amazon, where you buy something and then you can go in and rate it, the Capterra reviews are our customers that have found the listing on Capterra and went back and actually did a customer review of the product. And they're not 100% all glowing. I mean, there's a couple customers in there that they had some very constructive things to say that we have addressed in the products through the years. But for the most part, you'll be able to see what some of the customers using the product have to say about the value proposition themselves. So I am glad that you brought that up there, Adrian. Let's make sure we have our... not on our website. I'll get you the Sage Summit. It should be out here in the calendar. But
I'll include it in the follow-up email. I'll include your booth number in the follow-up email. Just get that to me, and I will send everybody the recording. And it looks like we have another question from Gail. It's booth number 101. Thank you, Gail.
There we
Anytime
go.
Collect
Excellent.
is in booth number 101. I love the team playing.
And I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I should have looked that up, Jim. Sorry. So
that's all right.
Anyway, well, thank you, everybody. Everyone, take care. I will also be at Sage Summit, Adrian Montgomery with ERP VAR, and we hope to see you there. And everybody, just take care. Have a fantastic day.
Yep. Hey, one more point here. Anybody online that is using Microsoft Dynamics GP, we will be out at the GPUG Summit in October. More details coming on that as well.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.
Excellent. Take care.